Well. It's finally time. It's finally time that I get this one going. Obviously, the division is heating up. Emeka Egbuka is wide receiver 1 for Tampa. Chris Olave is still in a hospital tent or blue tent. Carolina absolutely found wide receiver 1 with Tetaroa. And man, Michael Penix played like Patrick freaking Mahomes. What a time to be an NFC South fan. What a time to be a football fan. And of course, if you watch that Commanders-Packers game, man, whew, that was a tough one, man. The Cowboys absolutely messed up big time when it came to a certain name, Micah Parsons, man. Absolutely crazy talent. Super excited, though, for today. I'm ready to lock in. Today, I'm going to be breaking down a bunch of different press conferences, so make sure you come hang out. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to be on here for at least a few hours. Wife's got actually a remote interview, so that's at 4 o'clock, man. So we got at least 2.5 hours to burn. It's going to be a fantastic breakdown, though. We're going to start with Tracy Smith. I'm going to move on to, let's see who I got. Brad Idzik. We're going to make sure to knock out Brad Idzik. We're going to make sure to knock out Ejiro Evero. I've got 2 for Jonathan Gannon, including their breakdown of how they think they're going to be able to beat Carolina. So we got a lot. We got a lot to watch. I am ready, though. Let's get this. Let's just repost that so this way people can see it. So shout out to everybody that is watching in. I'm going to get this Tracy Smith one kicked off in just a second. But otherwise, I'm going to let people kind of funnel in, even if it's, you know what, even if it's just shout out anybody in my family. I don't really care. We're going to get it started here with the special teams coordinator, though, Tracy Smith. Obviously, special teams was a point of interest moving forwards. Carolina is suffering, to say the least. But I'm hoping and praying that we can actually get it turned around, of course. So let's get this one going. This is Tracy Smith, the special teams coordinator for Carolina, and we're going to hear what he has to say.
Hey, so I talked to Bryson in the locker room the other day. That opening kickoff, he kind of basically ran a route to get to the returner. I'm just curious, what about him, because of his size and because of his wide receiver background, makes him a really good fit for the position you're putting him on kickoff and punt?
So again, he's talking about Bryson Tremaine here. If you guys don't know, our wide receiver 6 now with the shipping of Adam Thielen. Obviously, Hunter's been moved up quite a bit because of the injuries. Jalen Coker's out still another 4 minimum weeks. So that's a lot that could change. Tracy Smith, though, obviously trying to get his guys ready. Bryson Tremaine, big guy, physical guy, can do a whole lot of blocking. So I'm expecting him to get a whole lot of special team snaps. Not only that, let me just look it up. The Panthers snap count for the last game, I'm like 95% sure that he had some of the most snap counts on the other side of the ball. So hold on, I'm trying to pull it up real quick. Of course I can't find it. Here we go. Snap count. We are looking at, man, he really didn't get a whole lot of, oh, here we go. Bryson Tremaine, 19 snaps, 29.69%. When it comes to offense, he played 63.64% of special team snaps. So on offense, in fact, I'm going to see if I can just put it on screen. Can I put it on screen? I don't know if I can. You know what? Let's see what happens. Let me scoot this over here. Let's share a window. Let's share this. Okay. I'm going to take him off the screen. Look at this. Bryson Tremaine, the guy he's about to talk, 29.69 offensive snaps, 63% of special team snaps. You know what that means? Out of every offensive player, he took the most snaps on special teams. So obviously he's a fringe guy wanting to make his way. But when we talk about the defensive side, Bam Martin-Scott's in there a bit more than him. Of course, Nkum and Cherilus, very much fringe players. Corey Thornton, Damani Richardson, another guy that people really like. Again, I like Damani Richardson as well. But that obviously shows us that a guy like Bryson Tremaine, again, the guy that he's about to go talk about, made a considerable contribution on the special team side of the ball. Now, I'm not really sure what stats-wise he put up for this game. Obviously, no rushing, receiving, but it looks like he's got 1 target for -2 yards. Oh, I'm sorry. That was last year. My bad. Where is defense? 1 game, 2 combined tackles, 1 solo, 1 assisted. That's fine. It doesn't really bother me, but regardless, let's hop back over to Tracy Smith and let's see this.
Physical skills stand out. He's big, fast, strong. Those things, that helps at any position. And then I've said it many times before over here. He's into it. Special teams is his deal right now. So he's going. There's something about having to make the tackle. I need to make this play kind of thing that he's got right now that brought him there. There's some things that help with receivers, some with pass rushers, some with just kind of physical, short space quickness players that help you on kickoff, and Bryson has all of that. And it was nice to see success immediately for him, and I hope he keeps going.
Absolutely, man. Bryson Tremaine's going to be that dude. I don't care what anybody says. Big, strong, fast, like he said. Contributing, again, I got to look it up because I'm going to mess it up. 63.64% of special team snaps in game 1. And then another, 29.69. He saw more snaps than Mitchell Evans. He saw more snaps than Trevor Etienne. And we're talking about a guy that barely saw less snaps than a guy like Rico Dowdle. So again, Bryson Tremaine is clearly a part of the offensive side, clearly blocking. He's not a real receiving threat, at least not right now. But hey, maybe that becomes something more. I'm not sure. But right now for this year, Bryson Tremaine's going to make his money with this guy right here, Tracy Smith.
And then I just wanted to get your feedback on Ryan's performance in the kickoff game. It seems like you were able to limit it to obviously not the 35, but get negative yards there for them. What did you think about his delivery and his upside in that regard?
Nice job in the game. Still growing. Want to bring as many possible kicks to the game as we can, so that you're not showing your hand before you get there. You'd prefer the teams that are preparing for you to have if to be as long as possible. So that's what we're working on week to week, and he showed a little bit in that game, and hoping to keep developing as we go while he learns the new kickoff stuff.
Absolutely. And again, he's talking about kicker Ryan Fitzgerald. He's the guy that I wanted. In the preseason, we were having a competition between 2 guys. Matthew Wright, the 29-year-old wide receiver who's been on, I believe it's 6 different teams, but just for a conservative vet, it's 5. 5 different teams since he came into the league, and he was struggling to beat a undrafted free agent in Ryan Fitzgerald, the kicker from Florida State. That's why I was in on Ryan Fitzgerald. The fact that you're taking a veteran to the ropes as an undrafted free agent means that you're the right kicker for us. And to be honest, if you develop into something more down the road, I'm excited to have hopefully our kicker for the next, decade. I was very happy to not see kicking woes in a Carolina Panthers game, because we know that's a position that, kind of goes with the wind at times. And it seemed like a position that Carolina couldn't figure out. Even with a guy like Wright, I didn't feel like he had the juice. But of course, we finally get a kicker. So, hey, man, I'm over the moon, and I'm glad that's one more position we don't have to worry about.
All right, we will go to Joe, followed by Alex.
Yeah, Mike kind of stole my question, but
how
would you?
He kind of had 2.
Yeah, I'll have to come up with one on the fly. But I was curious what you thought of Ryan's just demeanor and how he handled his first field goal try and pregame and all of it.
Sure. Maybe it helped him being close to home, but he seemed very comfortable the entire day. It was a weird one, from being there. The long delay, the lightning thing, the weather changing pretty dramatically from when we first walked out there and you felt like you were on the sun. And then when we left, when it was kind of like a breezy, maybe not rain the whole time. And he was pretty smooth. I checked in with him several times throughout the game, and it just kind of felt like a normal kicker to me, which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest here, we're going to move this over. Look at those kicking stats. Again, first game. So very, very large grain of salt with this. 1 field goal attempted, 1 field goal made. Hey, W. I don't care. I'm not splitting hairs here. It's a win. 1 extra point, again, made. W. Not going to overthink this. And again, kickoffs. Those 2 kickoffs for 116, averaging 58. I'm not really sure what that means that the ball's coming out to. It's probably 58 from where it's spotted, so I'd have to do the math. But That's solid. Again, first year, undrafted free agent, rookie, doesn't matter. 1-for-1 on the field goal itself, 1-for-1 on the extra point, and 2 solid kickoffs. We don't need to talk about this position anymore. Nice and easy.
And what about Trevor? He had a couple chances. Will he stay in that role going forward?
Did a nice job. He's on the list of guys that we're hoping to continue to develop. So he didn't do anything to take himself off the list. I would say that without making any giant game-changing plays, But showed he was secure with the ball and trustable going forward.
And to be honest, that's all we need. Trevor is very much running back 3 right now. The only way he sees the field in measurable ways is with an injury, which of course we don't want. So for him to say this, that's fine. Keep Trevor, get him learning. Again, I need him to get special teams reps. That's how these guys make the fringe roster, which being RB3 or technically, and probably a lot of Carolina Panthers fans, RB4 behind Jonathan Brooks. Hey, if this is how he's got to make it in the NFL, I'm totally fine with it.
Thanks.
Sure, of course. Nice job on the spot, ad-lib master.
What's up, Tracy?
Hey, Alex.
I too have a question about Ryan there. So I believe it was,
by the way, a lot of questions about the kicker.
Late in the second quarter, y'all had the ball. It was a 57-yard field goal try that you could have taken. You ultimately opted to punt. I know that you don't necessarily make those decisions about what, if you're going to punt, if you're going to kick, whatever, but could you shed some insight into what went into that decision to ultimately punt instead of trying that field goal?
Sure. Doing whatever we think is the best for the team at the time. He was available from that distance and a little bit farther in that particular game. With the clock running down, if you miss a field goal, which is not a layup at that distance for anybody on the planet, then you're kind of putting the Jaguars in really good position right before the half. They had struggled up to that point to move the ball outside of the one right after the turnover. So it felt like there's an opportunity for us to make a play on punt, which I felt like we did. That's part of our execution too. It's not just saying, oh, we can't make this field goal, but it's also, can we execute this punt? And that was part of the, kind of part of the math on that whole one. That particular one didn't turn out for us in that game, that scenario. But I didn't go back and say like, oh, no way was that wrong. We should have done it the other way. The results are the results, but I thought the process was pretty clear getting to that point.
I agree. And I also agree with his assessment. To that point, to be honest, Jacksonville wasn't really moving the ball. Even if you go look at, the scoreboard or however you want to call it, just go look at the stats, but then go watch the game. They didn't really have to do a whole lot on the offensive side of the ball. One, because Carolina could not keep our offense on the field. If we were able to do that, we would mitigate a lot of the issues that we saw. But to be honest, we would have opened a whole bunch of other cans of worms. Brian Thomas Jr. didn't make an impact because he didn't need to make an impact. A guy like, I'm trying to think of who their tight end is now because they traded Ingram. It's Brenton Strange. Brenton Strange didn't go crazy. None of their players kind of went crazy. It was just Etienne, and most of his yards, or damn near close to it, we'll say 45% of his yards were from that 170-yard run. By the way, shout out Arno. What's up? Yeah, I'm not moved by the Jaguars offense. I honestly think they could go into this next week and really sputter. And I think that a lot of the symptoms of what Carolina's going to try and fix, to be honest, just sits on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, the defense didn't take the ball away. Yes, the defense didn't get pressure where it needed to. Yes, we didn't play rookies. All of that's on Ejiro Evero. But at the same time, I mean, honestly, the defense was out there what felt like 90% of the game. It felt like once I saw the offense, they were pretty much coming off the field a few seconds later. Of course, we get the late, again, I'm going to keep calling it garbage time touchdown. That was it. That was our biggest offensive output the entire night. And it might just be week one. It might just be jitters or something like that. But I'm just not. I'm not going to give a pass to the offense. I'm not going to, be down 100% on the defense. But there's something going on with the offense that needs to be fixed. So this doesn't move me right now.
And you said you were comfortable with him from 57 and a little bit longer. is that a week-to-week thing, or is that pretty set in stone? Like, because that's quite far, and I know you're enamored with Ryan's big leg, but like,
Easy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. Is that a week-to-week thing, or is that just from that Sunday?
yeah. Okay. We'll put that down. Not a direct quote.
Very sorry.
Hey, we're all doing our best. That is straight up game situation, weather conditions apply, and then where we're at. So, and it's also the direction you're going on that particular field. That direction, that way, we had made one from further in pregame when it was still about the same as it was right then. So that's in the bag. Arizona, we have the roof closed. We'll see where we're at on that one as far as where he's good from. But that is going to be different at Green Bay. That'll be different at San Francisco. That'll be different at home on certain occasions when the wind's right to left, left to right, hard, soft, whatever those things are. But it is ever changing. I give a yard line to our defense for their kicker. I give a yard line to our offense for our kicker, and then we kind of play with the game situation from there.
I don't feel like I need to.
Have time.
I don't feel like I need to comment on the kicker anymore. We spent plenty of time talking about Ryan Fitzgerald. Everybody knows my thoughts. Fitzgerald to the moon.
For a couple more, we will go to Julian, followed by Cassidy.
Great, thanks. Hey, Tracy. Dale Campbell, we guys picked up a couple weeks ago off of waivers. I know Dave told us the idea was that he was going to be a gunner on special teams. He was inactive last Sunday. Is the hope that he'll be active this Sunday, and just kind of what's the plan for him overall moving forward there?
Hey, Julian, nice to meet you. He is a prospective special teams player. That's what he showed the most while he was at the Chargers. He's in competition for our fifth wideout spot that has a heavy special teams role. While you're doing that, you also have to be a backup receiver, so you have to know enough of the offense where you're a sub. They have 2 injuries, and you're playing most.
Hey, shout out to Arno. I think it was technically right about them using Rico as a third down back, by the way. Yeah, man, you absolutely were. And this one, too, a guy like Campbell, a guy like Bryson Tremaine, which he started off this press conference talking about, they're guys that have to make contributions in other places to start because they're not going to be the first wide receiver off the, the shoot, I guess.
The plays on offense. So it's a process for him as a very new person in this offense and on special teams here to kind of get up to speed so that he can participate in the games. And then we're just kind of about competing. The best guy gets to go out there, and that's the track that he's getting towards.
Hey, Tracy, how's it going?
Hey, Cass. Great.
I asked this knowing full well this may be something Johnny used to do as well, and I just didn't notice. But it seemed like a lot of times in between commercial breaks and whenever there was a chance, you look up and Sam's kind of out on the field, just testing the wind, looking at things. Is that, from your experience, pretty normal behavior for a punter, or were there times that you looked up trying to find him and realized he's standing out on the 40-yard line?
Kickers and punters both have kind of different habits, guy to guy, but there is something about when you're on the sideline, you're naturally closer to the walls of the stadium than you are on the field. So when there's a break in the action, you'll see a lot of those guys go out, some of them farther than others, just so you can feel the conditions that you're going to get, possibly, especially on the near hash towards your sideline, because it does feel differently. I can't always have the exact same perception of the wind as the guys will have on the field just based on how the stadium is built. So that's not uncommon. That is common. Let's do it that way. That's a common thing to see guys do, and that's what they're doing. It just feels a little differently standing on the sideline with everybody around you and the bench and close to the wall than it does when you're more exposed to the weather on the field.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? You're going to feel differently. The wind's going to be a little bit differently because it's, again, the way it's built. I guess I never thought about that from the kicker punter perspective. Hey, we got a quick break. Let's just run out on the field and figure this out. Like, okay.
Has there been a time in your career where like you've had an idea to call one thing and they've come back and been like, no, it feels different out there. Let's do this instead?
Yes, absolutely. It didn't happen to me directly, but when we're in Candlestick Park, that was kind of notorious for out there between the hashes felt quite a bit different than it did in the sideline. There's a lot of kind of nooks and crannies in that particular stadium where you were better off letting the guy go onto the field and then call what direction, what kind of punt he wanted to hit instead of doing it from the sideline, because those guys often would get out there and say like, okay, I wish I wouldn't have said that kind of thing, because it just doesn't feel the same.
Again, very interesting. I would have never thought about it, but now that he said it, it makes 100% sense. Especially like we talk about the Cowboy Stadium all the time, with having the light go into a specific side of the stadium against the away team. I think it's in the afternoon or whatever. Like that's a very interesting dynamic that, again, we always go after kickers. We always go after punters. Man, they got some weird stuff that they do, but it makes sense.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tracy, just wanted to ask you one more question. With a dome stadium like Arizona, is that going to change maybe your aggressiveness with punting and field goals in general?
Domes are different. They're mostly different in preparation. I was in Houston for 3 years. And so you kind of go into it where you can predetermine more of the stuff beforehand. If you're going to play an outdoor game, unless you're very sure about that place or the wind's always this way, like Kansas City, or unless it's very consistent, you are going to go ahead and say, like, you can decide today that we only want to punt backwards or something that we would actually do, so that I don't tell you the answer. But outdoor games, you have to go in with both things no matter what. You have to be ready for right or left in every situation, just because you can get boxed into a condition. We have to punt towards their bench throughout the day, or the other way around, that kind of thing. But an indoor game, you can kind of go with your best ball and try to make plays on that. Or if they know what your best ball is, you can go with the other one, etc. That kind of thing. But totally different preparation indoors and outdoors, because the conditions are already set for us.
Thanks.
Okay, this seems like the end of the press conference, so shout out to him. Let me get him off the screen real quick, and then we're going to get the next one queued up. I think I want to talk about Brad Idzik first. I think I'm going to save Ejiro Evero for the very end. So let's get rid of him.
Hey, Brad, how's it going?
Good morning, Mike.
From your standpoint, what do you think you guys need to do to improve the pre-snap operation as far as managing the clock and getting snaps off maybe earlier in counts?
Yeah, that's
By the way, my press conference breakdown for Dave Canales comes out at 4 o'clock, so about 2.5 hours. In his last press conference, Dave Canales explicitly said, God, I wish I had the freaking thing. You know what? I'm going to try and find it off camera. And if I can, then, he literally says directly, we're getting the snap count in. It's not that, it's the center and it's Bryce Young. So I'm very curious to see how this guy comes out and says it. God, got to go find that clip now.
the first thing we did this week is a challenge of guys with 3 things. Just talking about being urgent into and out of the huddle, getting to the line of scrimmage so we can start to digest information as soon as possible, getting looks in the run game, getting our points right, and getting the communication echoed out up front. The second piece is brevity of communication. So coupling the tempo of getting in and out of the huddle, the tempo of getting the play called is not adding fluff in our communication. So that kind of couples with a trust that your teammates know what they're doing. So it's all kind of tied in together. But really urgency and brevity were the 2 kind of themes of our pre-snap stuff, to just make sure that we're getting to the line, we're clear in our communication, and then we're trusting each other to do the right thing.
It's an interesting way to beat around the bush to say exactly what I just said. They don't think that it's the play calling. They think it's the execution from the quarterback and center.
And then I just want to follow up. You had 3 drives that basically led to 5 first downs, and I think it was like 13 minutes of offense.
Yeah, again, the offense failed us, not the defense. Defense got put in a bad situation, period. They're the only ones that got forced to be on the field.
How can you guys, I guess, streamline the process between understanding what the defense is, knowing what you're going to call, but also minding the clock when you are trailing?
Yeah, when you're trailing, you want to stay balanced for as long as you can, but then there does come a time where it's kind of go mode for us, where we got to start to push the tempo. So that's just something we've been harping in on all week, and that's, whether the situation is normal ball or we're down a couple scores and we got to get rolling. That's never the intent to extend all those drives out, especially when you're down a couple scores. But again, that's just what we've been kind of emphasizing all week. No matter the situation, we should feel that urgency to the line of scrimmage. It encourages trust in your teammates. It shows us that you know what you're doing, and then we're in attacking mode. That's what we want our culture to be about. That's what we want our offense to be about. And it starts to streamline as long as that communication is brief and succinct, and then in the urgency in and out of the huddle with the play calls and everything, that's all coupled together. So you'll start to feel that urgency when it's all being addressed in practice and it becomes habit.
Okay, two things. One, I absolutely continue to feel that, again, they're putting the onus on Bryce Young. I understand that it could be nuanced maybe a little bit differently. You could say, hey, man, it's the full execution of the offense and all this other stuff. But ultimately, Bryce is getting that play in his ear. He just needs to relay it to his team, and then they need to be confident going out there. So my question is, what are we not hearing about this? Okay? I understand that this is going to take us down a tiny little rabbit hole for us just a brief second, but if it was Bryce, like let's say, for example, they thought it wasn't Bryce, it was the center, it was the play calling or whatever, they would take the onus of that. Sorry, my ear itches. They would take the onus of that. They would say, you know what, Bryce is going out there. He's really conducting the offense. He's putting us in positions to win and everything like that. But instead, they're doing this weird, dance, this, I don't know. I previously heard one person say it, I think, perfectly. Shout out to Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan, but he said, is Bryce still having confidence issues? And if that's the case where he's talking about, oh man, this way your teammates can trust you and all this other stuff, that language, that flowery, walk around the bush, that's what I feel like Brad and of course Dave are doing right now. Because as much as we want to put it on the defense, which is going to lead into my next point, which is this comment. Hey, Arno, shout out. I don't see how he can save face talking about Ejiro Evero. And I agree with you. I think that at this point, Evero's done. There's no way that Evero survives the season. But I could see a scenario where the offense continues to put the defense on the field. The offense continually is bad. Like we just talked about it. 5 drives, or was it 3 drives? Whatever he said. 3 drives, 5 first downs. That's not good enough. Period. Unless those 3 drives show up with touchdowns because you don't need the first down, man, this is a problem. Okay? Just in general. I don't see a scenario, though, where Evero survives and Dave survives. I don't see a scenario where Dave survives and Evero doesn't. I do feel like they're a little bit tied together. I understand that might seem controversial at the moment, but the defense is continually out on the field because we were unable to get the offensive ball moving. I hate that because, again, we had Tetaroa, we had Trevor, we had Rico. You know what? We even got some offensive line depth, even though we have 3 of 5 offensive linemen hurt right now. There's something there. There's something going on. And again, I need Brad to just slip up one more time because, again, he's working around it. He's trying to massage it, but he will slip up just like they always do. And that's exactly why we do these breakdowns, because these guys right here, oh, wrong side. These guys right here tell us everything every week without fail.
All right, we will go over to David Newton, followed by Darren.
Hey, Brad, good to see you. Following up on what Mike asked, can you tell me what the process is as far as the play call? Because how much influence do you have? Does it go straight from Dave to Bryce, or just kind of tell me the whole process that works there?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. How does the process work to get from Dave Canales and what his offensive scheme needs to be? How does it get to Bryce? This is a great one. Also, it seems like they're totally separate. Even in the conferences, Dave alludes to EE seemingly being stubborn independence in that regard. I will say that he's probably doing, if that's the case, Evero is wanting to hold on to the wheel as he goes down. He doesn't want to hand it to somebody else. He doesn't want to do anything. He wants to do exactly what Frank Reich did. He wants to go down with his ship.
I think in between drives, we're previewing stuff, that the defense is doing, how we want to attack them. So I think there's an expectation when it comes to Bryce going out onto the field of, hey, the next couple play calls in these situations, we're expecting them to do this. You kind of want to put it in the back of their head so nothing catches them by surprise. Same thing goes with Dave when he's clicking over from, helping the game management. We have time to talk. So, hey, the next couple drives, our favorite runs, while the beauty of having, Dave is doing the game management and I get to help with the run game and hear their next thoughts of how to combat the guys up front. And then kind of consolidate all the information we're getting from all the coaches.
And there he goes. The slip up happened. Let's let him finish, though.
Give it to Dave before the drive, and then we're off and rolling.
And
so again, he's stating that the play calls are happening 2 and 3 plays ahead of time. They're talking with the run game coordinator. They're talking with the offensive line, coaches. They're talking with everybody else to get those play calls in ahead of time. That's something that Dave talked about last year. He talked about, man, if it's 3rd and 3, we're thinking about 3rd and 3, but we're also thinking about 4th and 1, 4th and 2. What happens if we're back at 4th and 3? So I don't want to hear this anymore that it's the play calling. They're literally telling you, hey man, we're literally 3-4 plays ahead. Also, let's see. Then if he's slapping his hands off the wheel, why would Dave be chained to EE's ship? If the season goes south, I predict Evero and Bryce taking a hike with Dave staying. Okay, if that's the case, Arno, it happens in one way. Evero's gone because the defense sucks. Bryce gets benched at some point, and he puts in literally any other quarterback. Andy Dalton, Hendon Hooker, Geno Smith, I don't really care who it is. And that person walks into the first game and does what like Dalton did last year. 300 plus passing yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns, no picks, and we win. If that's the case, I agree with you because Dave will have showed that the offense was hurting because of Bryce. But if that's the case, then that whole Bryce Young saga comes to a screeching halt. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's traded from the organization. But yes, I could absolutely see that happening under that one scenario. But again, that's the offense actually getting the output once Bryce is benched.
Do you think that part of the process failed on that 4th and 1 call that seemed to come in late or got it?
No, I think Dave addressed that. We won't get into the specifics of the play calls and that, but that's a play we've repped a ton of times, and we just got to find a way to execute.
Exactly. Thank you, Brad Idzik. Thank you, Dave Canales, for finally putting this to bed. It was on Bryce. That 4th and 1 especially, man. That he just threw it out of the backfield. That was 100% on him. I'm sorry. Nobody else gets that blame but him.
Okay, I want to ask one more thing. What did you see the impact of T-Mac on the game on Sunday? I know he felt like he should have had the deep one over the middle where he should have gotten 2 hands on the ball and called it a routine catch for him. But what was the overall impact on the game by him?
Well, talking about urgency, you see an attacking nature from T-Mac. Anytime that ball was in the air, he was going after it. He felt comfortable, right? You see the late one where we got the defensive pass interference. There's a guy who's comfortable in setting a DB up last minute to try to make a circus catch. But that's just that's confidence, right? That's the investment that he's had in the mental piece of the game and what we're trying to ask him to do. And you see a guy who's playing with urgency and an attacking nature. That's exciting. And we want our whole offense to feel that same way. And that's why we've really been pushing that emphasis this week.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. I think you're muted, Darren. Looks like you're trying to talk.
There we go. When you say brevity of communication, is that the number of words in a play call, or is this other things being said in that process?
No, it's the play calls really haven't changed. The length of the play calls, in the NFL, I think on every team, you're going to have some checks and balances when you have a play call. But as far as when you're communicating out at the line of scrimmage and you're using our vocabulary and you're echoing that example in a run game all the way out to the tight end, it's got to get from the center driven, all the way out to the tight end. There's things on the perimeter where we're echoing route adjustments. That's got to get all the way out to the widest receiver. So it's really just being clear with how you communicate that. So you're not, you're keeping guys in the wheelhouse of things that we've practiced, as far as using vocabulary. So you have all these guys that have played on multiple teams and have called routes different things, have called, combos different things up front. But the repetition that we've gotten, all spring, all last year, going into this year with training camp is just rely on trusting our technique, trusting the vocabulary and the brevity of communication that we presented to you, and just rolling it out on game day, knowing your teammate next to you is going to have your back.
Again, also clarifying that these are plays from last year. Same length, nothing new. This is all Brad Idzik and Dave Canales telling you it's the quarterback. I don't really see any other avenue for this. I don't see a scenario where he's like, yeah, man, nothing's changed from last year. We're getting the play calls in 2 and 3 plays early. Dave Canales is accurately explaining the plays, and everybody should be prepared for this because you need to trust the guy next to you. That sounds like they don't have confidence. Again, maybe it's me. And again, shout out to anybody calling me out in the comments below. But there's something here, man. Do they not like Bryce? Do they want to go with Dalton? Do they have maybe an order from David Tepper to not do that? To say, hey, you need to, live and die by Bryce? I mean, possibly. We don't really know. But the way that we see Dave Canales, to be honest, even Brad Idzik, wrong way again. This dude did not look this old 6 months ago. Go look it up. Go look at pictures. Brad Idzik looked like he was 19. Now all of a sudden he's a 35-year-old. What happened? What freaking happened? By the way, bridge quarterback snagging a win is in the gas station snack compared to actually developing a team or a franchise player. I agree. I feel like this is where this franchise is headed right now. Like, we're going to need a bridge. Maybe for a full year and a half. But if that's the case, who are we drafting? What are we doing? There's so many more questions if that's the case. Like, literally, it completely changes the entire equation. And again, does Canales survive? Does Idzik survive? Because again, we know Ejiro Evero is gone.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask was about Chuba and Rico and kind of the distribution of labor. Is that what we saw last week a reasonable expectation, or will that change week to week?
Well, you'd love to be able to continue to run the ball late into the second half. I think you'll start to see a balanced attack when you're in 4-minute mode and you're up on teams and you're trying to finish games out with running the ball and being physical. So that's when I think you'll see more base down carries from Rico and Chuba. But as far as doing the third down stuff, Rico's done a great job for us there. We'll continue to push him in that regard. Just having a good role, a good niche there, and then spelling both those guys with having some stuff for Trevor as well. It's going to pay dividends in the long run. So I do think that distribution, you feel the emphasis of trying to get Chuba going, trying to let him, impose that physical mentality early and often. But then also, just keeping a pulse on it as the game goes. He takes a big shot, give a drive to Rico when you need to, knowing, we're not going to lose a step as far as the quality of running.
And again, if that's the case, if you drafted Chuba in your fantasy, man, you are seeing a loss, to be honest with you. I mean, we're expecting him to get a ton of carries. Of course, announced very first week that he's not going to be getting, an overwhelming amount of carries. We're going to be splitting it with Rico. And like Arno said, he called it, Rico was going to be the third down back. I don't know how I feel about this, though. I want to know your thoughts because I'm a Panthers first guy. I want to draft our players, I want to develop our drafted players over anybody else. I would much rather put $10 million into developing Trevin Wallace than put $5 million into developing Christian Roseboom. Christian Roseboom was not drafted to be a Panther, so get him the hell out of here. That's my thought. I'd rather have Tua Nomura out there on a regular basis. But at the same time, we need to win games. And Rico is going to help us win, hopefully, a few games. But at the same time, we're not extending him. We're not. And if we are, it's because Jonathan Brooks is done. Because right now we're looking at Chuba, who's under contract, Trevor Etienne, again, who is under contract, just drafted, Jonathan Brooks, still under rookie contract, and a Rico Dowdle that does not have a contract. I'm like 95% sure. Oh, geez, now I need to go check. I'm pretty sure we didn't pay him. I'm pretty sure he's just on here on a 1 year, but yeah, 1 year, 2.75, maximum 6.25. So Rico's not going to be here next year. So no offense. Don't really care about developing Rico. I understand the splitting reps because I want a healthy Chuba in the scenario that, hey, week 17, 18, we're still competitive. But if it gets to a certain point and we're just not competitive anymore, I mean, no offense, run Chuba. Let him get his stats. He's a Panther. Let a guy like Trevor Etienne on the field. Let a guy like Bryson Tremaine or somebody like that. Jimmy Horn Jr., for that matter. Like, give me Jimmy Horn out there. But I don't love this whole, like, yeah, we're going to develop him sometimes and we're just going to kind of go around it. That's just my thoughts.
All right, we will go to Daryl, followed by Alex.
Hi, Brad. I want to ask a question regarding how the offense ended up performing on Sunday in the first game. And last year, a similar type of start to the season where Bryce wasn't sharp, the offense wasn't cohesive. Why maybe the team did not give him more, and the players in general, more reps in the exhibition season, like, for instance, the one game where they got 2 series of downs and Dave didn't think that they earned a 3rd series. Wouldn't you think like maybe you needed a little bit more work rather than less, and maybe not have the same type of start this year that happened last year?
You know what? I'm going to pause this. I never play these sounds on here, but finally somebody called out the freaking offense for sucking so bad.
What was your thought on all of that?
Yeah, I think from the outsider's view, you see the reps in preseason games. Every team manages it different. We also were benefited with 2 cross-joint practices with Cleveland and Houston, 2 very physical, good defenses that posed a lot of challenges for us. So we thought that the extended reps combined with the reps that they got in the preseason games coming from those practices, our guys, they showed they were ready for the tempo of a real game and you know, getting those live reps. Those things occurred in those 2 practices that we had. I don't have the official count on me, but I would think it'd be a normal distribution of preseason reps that starters would get when you throw all those things in there together. So we felt good about the preparation and the plan going into having 2 joint practices against other defenses and then having them ready for the season.
Okay, well, it didn't work. Nice and simple. It didn't work. Okay. Now, when you talk about defenses, again, let's swap this. Oops. Boom. Okay, so I obviously understand the first 2 defenses we went against, or 3, I guess. Cleveland, top tier pass rusher. Not even going to argue with that. Same thing here. 3 solid defenses, okay? What's the excuse for the Jacksonville game? What's the excuse? And then what's the excuse this week? If something happens this week, if we walk into Arizona and get blown out, we walk into Arizona and this defense is able to put the nails into our offense, what are we going to do? I want to show you something. You want to look at the Cardinals? Oh, I've clicked the wrong one. Look at these injuries. Okay, we're going to start at the bottom. Sean Murphy-Bunting, out. Another corner, out. Tackle, out. Treshawn, out. Rookie Walter Nolan, out. BJ Ojulari, out. Bilal Nichols. I mean, look at all this. Guard, another tackle. Defensive tackle. Zaven Collins is a linebacker and might not play due to a hand injury. Will Hernandez is still questionable, and if he doesn't play, again, coming off of injury. Joey Blount, out. Their punter. No one really cares about the punter. Tip and then Cody Simon. Again, both might be out. Will not play in Sunday's game versus Carolina. So there we go. We're literally walking into this game versus a team that has 15 freaking people on the injury list. That is insane to me. Okay? And then look at these defenses that we go and play. Let's just hope, okay, that Atlanta doesn't have a good defense. Because, again, we normally split this. This is normally hey, man, we're going to walk in there. We might lose this one, but you know what? That later Atlanta game, week 11, we're going to get that one. There might be a situation where we walk in and lose both. And, again, my tinfoil hat theory was what happens if we go into this game and lose, go to Arizona after they come off 1-0, which I accurately predicted, and then we lose that game. Then we have to host Atlanta at home. Which, again, Michael Penix looks good. It might help us out. The Drake London shoulder might be acting up, but Bijan looked amazing. So that's another issue we have. New England has a solid defense. Christian Gonzalez, they got guys. Then Miami. Hey, man, if we don't win any of these games and we lose to frickin' Miami, I'm going to, spoon my eyes out or something. This is insane. And then, again, Dallas. You know what? They have a bad front office, ownership, whatever, for getting rid of Micah Parsons. So that's great that we dodged that. But, a few weeks later, we still have to play it. That's going to be a bad game for us. Because if we don't get the wins by Miami, I don't know if we have, to be honest, I don't think we're good enough to beat the Jets. I'm sorry, they looked way better this year than they did last year. So there's an honest scenario. We could walk into 5-6 games without a win. So this Arizona game is integral. We need this. I need this win. Okay. So this idea that, what we did last year is totally okay. You know, we rolled into New Orleans and got blown out by like 30. That's okay. We went into Jacksonville and got blown out. That's okay because we're building. No, I won't accept that, Brad. I won't accept that, Dave, and I won't accept that, David Tepper.
In the practices versus the games, that the players maybe react a different way, because in the practice you could start things over. It doesn't really count in the game. It's happening in real time, and you can't go back on it. I mean, is there a difference there in some way, though?
I would say there's definitely a difference when you're practicing by yourself. When you're practicing against our defense and we say, hey, Evero, I need that play again. Can we get it at the end of the rack? But when we're in Houston and we're practicing against Cleveland, those reps are as live as it gets. Those guys turn on a competitive switch where it feels like game mode, and we're doing extended drives, call it periods, putting guys in situations where exactly what you're saying, we want them to react, and have it be more free flow like it is in a game. That's where we felt really good about the reps they got against those two teams outside of the preseason reps as well, that they got enough of that exposure going into the season.
Yeah, but they clearly didn't. No offense, the offense looked considerably worse than the defense. And again, I'm going to try and not keep bringing that up, but once we get to Evero, it's going to be very apparent. I'm tired of the excuses. Give me wins. I don't care that you think. I don't care what you want. I don't care of anything. Show me results.
Thank you, Brad.
Yep.
Hey, Brad, I know that you were asked about T-Mac earlier, but I want to ask a follow-up on him. He was pretty upset at himself for dropping that pass in the end zone. And just generally, what does that say about a rookie who had a pretty good day otherwise, being hard on himself after that play?
That's what you want. That's what we saw in him in the pre-draft prep. His competitive nature, he wants to win in everything he does. The first thing he came back, I remember the defensive pass interference. He's like, hey, make sure they give me those yardage for that catch I just made. So there's a guy who's ultra confident, and he backs it up with a lot of skill and ability. And he's only going to continue to ascend, as he continues to get opportunities to showcase that. I'm really excited about just the attacking nature that he had, on a handful of those things down the field, and can't wait for that to grow.
I agree with that. And my initial prediction coming out of college was that he would be absolutely dynamic. And what does a shorter quarterback need? He needs to do with that big, huge frame. I like big, tall, strong receivers. So a guy like Nalo was super easy for me to embrace. But I'm not going to lie. I kind of really like Egbuka too. Again, he's going to be my fantasy darling all this year. But this division does have solid wide receivers all around. I mean, you figure the top four, Chris Olave, which, as long as he's not getting hospital balls, he should be great. Nalo, Egbuka now, and then Drake London. I mean, solid division. Corners are getting better in this division. Overall, I'm happy. I do love that he is taking accountability. I love that he already talked about going back up with that touchdown, or hopefully touchdown in the end zone with two hands as opposed to one. But at the same time, I need a quarterback that can get him the ball. I need a quarterback that can get him the ball on a regular basis, can see over the offensive line, and then I don't have to keep worrying about in these situations like 4th and 1 and you just airmail it over the end zone. Like, come on, dude.
I'm sorry to report that he did not get credited for those yards.
I know.
And then I wanted to ask about Hunter Renfrow as well. He was kind of, I don't know how fair this is, he was kind of tabbed as a replacement for Adam Thielen once Adam got traded. I wanted to get your take. Do you think that is a fair one-to-one comparison? And if it is, how do you find a way to get him more involved in week 2?
Our stable at receiver room, once Adam was, out of the room, we still had Jalen, and then Jalen went down, obviously, and Hunter was there as well, and he had so many accumulated reps where he's already developed that trust with the quarterback and with us as coaches. So it's just a matter of making sure that, the workload was right for him, but then also just continuing to learn the guy. When we get into a game, game plan mode when you're putting guys into specific spots. Okay, how do you want to highlight him? How do you complement the things he does? It's a lot of fun because you get to go back, and I watched all his targets from Vegas, and I'm having great conversations with him on the side of like, okay, what are some of the things you liked? How did they use you? How did they coach it up? And then how can we bring those conversations to Bryce so you two are on the same page? He mentioned it early last spring and in training camp. He's like, I'm not used to just being put all over the place in different spots in the offense. And he's like, is that what it's going to feel like during the season? And I was like, no, this is actually a form of like conceptual learning that we want all of the guys to have. We had a lot of young skills, and we want to push them to conceptually learn. Hunter's included in that, being new to our offense. So we put him in all the different spots so we knew what the concepts were, and now we get to pick and choose where those guys are going into a game week to maximize the matchups that we have.
Okay, so that was all gobbledygook. Like, they liked Hunter Renfrow. Again, my tinfoil hat for Hunter was that he's going to end up on the coaching staff. What you did, 3 years ago for the Raiders, for a team that doesn't even have the same front office, the same coach, not the same scheme, not the same anything. The idea that Hunter Renfrow was going to be able to come off of his couch and immediately affect this team was immediately nullified the minute he was not on the 53. The minute that Dave Canales went up to that podium and said, yeah, man, I mean, he had the hamstring and the thing, we're really asking him if this is really what he wants to do. Like, the idea that they just did a 180 on him and now they're like, oh my God, I love all your cut-ups from the Raiders. Man, that's so long ago. Like, I'm sorry. I'm out on Renfrow. I understand they want him there as the veteran, but at this point, I don't care. We have David Moore. And as much as I don't like David Moore, Hunter Renfrow's not it, man. David Moore is better than Hunter Renfrow.
Great. Appreciate you.
Yep.
We have time for one more. We'll finish off with Mike K.
All right.
Brad, I know you're the resident Bryson Tremaine expert on the staff. We saw him get some offensive reps in this previous game. I mean, he came in on a future reserve contract and had -2 yards on his resume. Like, what did he truly do during the summer beyond special teams in your mind to earn, an every week role and a role on offense?
He contributes on special teams. He's huge. He can block, and he's a safe target for Bryce to throw to, not throw through.
One more time. Who are you asking about? I didn't cut out.
Oh, sorry. Bryson Tremaine.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he came in with like -2 yards on his resume and was a future reserve guy.
Yeah.
What did he do outside of special teams to really earn a role in your offense? And what did you see from him in the summer that maybe kind of, I guess, reinforced, taking a gamble on him based on your relationship?
Well, first of all, I think he's going to have a great day of practice today. If you're putting the -2 out there, I think that'll fire him up. But I would say the consistency and the approach that Bryson's had since he got here. Obviously, in the spring, we didn't get to see him much with the foot. So I was kind of telling Rob Moore, I was like, hey, just trust me on this one. Trust me, you're gonna like the guy. We're gonna hope that the health holds up for us. And then when he was healthy, he goes full tilt. You're about to talk to Tracy Smith, and he's gonna double down on this. I guarantee it. He goes full tilt every snap. You're going to get every ounce that you can out of him. He plays physical, and then he's strong. He's strong to the catch point, right? He wants to attack everything we do, and it's really just couples with exactly that fundamental piece of what we want the culture on our offense to be, attacking in nature. So we want all of our guys to present that to the defense, that we're dictating the tempo, we're dictating the physicality, and we're dictating, at the catch point, that's my ball, I'm going to get it. And he did a great job of that in camp. He did a great job in Cleveland when we had the joint practice against Cleveland. I think he caught the last touchdown at the end of practice, and, guys stormed the field, the quarter field that we had. But just his approach, and really that whole room is led by Rob. helped out by Keyshawn Coleman. They never stop coaching those guys, and they never stop trying to get better every single day. And Bryson's a great example of a guy who missed a lot of time in the spring, but all of that mental investment that those coaches have put into him just let him hit the ground running when he got here in the fall for us.
And again, we've already gone over Tracy Smith, who talked quite great, honestly, about Bryson Tremaine. I like Bryson Tremaine. Again, big physical guy. I'm pretty sure it was the dude in the preseason, or maybe it was the Fan Fest game that had that crazy catch where he went over a dude and then still got drilled in the ribs. I mean, I'm 100% sold on a guy like Bryson Tremaine. I don't think that I need to even have a conversation about him. Again, I would even probably put him over a guy like Hunter Renfrow, who's already constantly hurt, it feels like. Bryson's going to take a long time to develop, though. He's high end a wide receiver 3, but to be honest, most of his impact's going to be assisting in the run game, being engaged with corners for opening it up down the field, hopefully, stuff like that. And then of course special teams. But here, I'm going to get this next one going. After this, we're going to watch some Ejiro Evero, the one that everybody's been waiting for. I'm going to get it queued up, and then I'm going to run to the bathroom so everybody can go take a quick 1-2 minute break. And then we're going to be back. We're going to be breaking down Ejiro Evero, the DC, the one we have the most questions about, all that other stuff. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave you with a fantastic meme. I mean, come on. Here it is. Come on, man. It is Nick Scott doing a little dance. And I know that nobody on the Carolina Panthers likes Nick Scott. So let's just give it a second. I'm going to go use the restroom. I'll see you guys in just 1 second. And like I said, we're going to start getting into this Ejiro Evero. Okay, I hit the bowl. I went pee. It's time to get this back. Let's get Mr. Ejiro Evero
Obviously,
on
we
the
got
screen.
Arizona coming up this weekend, and very good team that had a really good victory week one. Well-coached team, Jonathan Gannon and Coach Petzing on the offensive side, and so we know it's a big challenge for us. But I really love the way we started off the week yesterday with our preparation in the meeting rooms and in practice. Had an excellent practice, and so we're on track to go out this Sunday and have a good performance, and that's what we're looking to accomplish. So with that, I'll take some questions.
Ooh, man, he is not starting this off easy, huh? Man, we're going to have a good performance. Unless Lathan Ransom's starting over Nick Scott, I don't think that great performance is coming.
All right, we will kick things off with David Newton.
How you doing, EJ? Doing well?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I wanted to ask you, I know Dave mentioned this week that he want to get some younger players out on the field. What are your plans regarding that?
Well, I don't want to get too much into talking about who we're going to be playing. I think that's, part of our competitive advantage. But the one...
Yeah, part of that is we're not releasing the injury report for the game until later because the Arizona Cardinals won't release theirs till later. So it should be coming out here in the next hour or so if it didn't just come out.
I think I will reiterate is that, we're on board in terms of like, hey, the mandate is to develop everybody on our roster. That's part of coaching in this league. And that's part of developing the type of program that we want. And so that's what we're going to do. And we're always excited about the challenge to improve our roster. And that really comes down to development and in the classroom, on the practice field, obviously on the game field as well. And so that's what we're always striving towards.
I can't stand the just platitudes that everybody gives. Again, we have a lot of issues on the defensive side. I'm not even going to get into the just not playing rookies scheme I don't love. I'm a 4-3 guy, not a 3-4 guy. But there has been an update from Mike K. It's actually about 2 hours old, so I'm a bit behind. But I feel good about it when Canales was speaking about Ikem Ekwonu. But he cautioned that he would see how he does throughout the weekend. Man, if Icky doesn't play in this freaking game, I'm going to be so mad. Complete side note, though.
And how did you feel overall about the defense? I know the run game, without the big run, but even without that, it's still over 130 yards, I guess. So what were the breakdowns and what do you feel like needs improvement? Was this last year's demons kind of coming back at all, or?
No, I don't want to look backwards. I think this year is a completely different entity. Obviously, we didn't perform the way we wanted. I know we're capable of a lot more than that, and so there's a lot of things that we can shore up for certain in terms of how we play and how we coach, and we'll get that done. But it's also that's the evolution of the season is that we got to continue to improve week after week and continue to work towards what we want to accomplish.
Okay, I can't stand this, dude. I really don't even want to continue because this seems like the same, like you said before, Arno, right here, media training. That's all this is. That's something that I said about Bryce Young. I felt like he was perfectly PR media trained. Dave Canales as well. This might be one of the most cleaned up front offices or coaching staffs or whatever when it comes to just talking around the bush. This team wins every year when it comes to that. It blows my mind.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we will go over to Julian.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, AJ. Yes, sticking with the run game, I know you don't want to go kind of backwards to last year, but just kind of looking back on Sunday, did you feel like just the process where guys were at was in the correct spot, just not making plays? Like, what do you think, at least with that game in particular, the disconnect was with the inability to stop the run, knowing that it was really one big play, and then, as David mentioned, 130 yards after that?
Yeah, dude, it was tackling all day long. Fundamentals. Dudes like Nick Scott are the reason why that 70-yard play even happened.
Yeah, it's, when you look at it overall, it's a lack of, there was a very, we were highly efficient in stopping a run, but it was just the big plays that, kind of neglected it. It was obviously the 71-yarder, the plays that we gave up in a 4-minute situation, the quarterback scrambles. And so, it's like 4 or 5 plays that we wish we had back. But we all understand that that's the nature of this league, is that those 4 or 5 plays are the difference. And so that's where we all got to be better.
And then
Yeah, if you were to take those 4 or 5 plays out, it absolutely makes the defense look a lot better. Of course, that's the case with every team. Take out their bad plays, of course they look great. But at the same time, I do think that, again, EJ is going to take most of the heat here. He is going to be fired at some point before the end of the season. You know, there's a reason why he's got that face right now. It's going to happen, but at the same time, the offense needs to be able to stay on the field long enough to allow the defense to freaking rest. Because it felt, again, like everybody was on the field constantly, but the offense.
Looking at Sunday with Arizona, obviously a team you guys faced late last season who had success on the ground with James Conner. He's back, and Trey Benson and then Kyler Murray. Kind of what do you see out of their rushing attack and kind of the challenges that they present to you guys on Sunday?
Yeah, it's going to be similar in terms of what we just faced. They got a really good menu of plays in terms of the guard pull stuff they have, the powers, the plunge schemes. And so we're going to see some diversity in plays that are similar to what we just saw against Jacksonville. And so we know it's going to be a big challenge. Connor's a big physical back. He's hard to tackle. Benson is shown some really good explosion and speed. And so it's going to be a good challenge. And obviously what Kyler brings in terms of his ability to keep plays alive. And so all of the things that we had to deal with last week, we're going to have to face this week. And we got to be better.
Yeah, of course you got to be better, dude. I mean, that's just the basics. But at the same time, let's look at their offense. Where are we going to struggle? You know what? Screw it. I'll just pull up their depth chart. Why am I doing this? Boom. Let's pull this depth chart up. Okay. Who are we looking at realistically? Okay. We're talking about it as not Panthers fans in this moment. Who's going to hurt us? I mean, first name that I look at is Trey McBride. Absolute target monster. What do you have in that game? 6 for 61, 10.2 average. Oh, you can't see it because it's over my big, huge head. Oh, there we go. So, again, solid start to the season. Solid start. What about their wide receivers? Again, I'm going to continually fawn over my Marvin Williams. Oh, my God, I can't. I'm reading Marvin and then Wilson. Marvin Harrison Jr. Good Lord. James Conner I like, but to be honest, I feel like the back that might be the biggest concern is Trey Benson. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's going to be Trey Benson and Trey McBride. The Treys. Trey 2. Whatever you want to call them. I think that's going to be the bigger of the issues. When it comes to their offensive line, though, I feel like you got some guys. Jonah Williams, of course. Isaiah Adams, I don't know a whole lot about Froholt, so I'd have to do some research on him. Evan Brown's not bad. And, of course, Paris Johnson Jr. I like him. Defense, though. Josh Sweat, Calais Campbell, a bunch of names you've never heard of. But then this secondary is really where I go into. Will Johnson, man, what a steal for that draft. What a steal for this team. Dude graded as one of the highest defensive rookies. I think it might have been the highest. It was like 90.9 or something on PFF. Buda Baker, really like him too. Keaton Crawford, I don't hate. But really, if we're going to have this conversation about how we beat this team, it's none of this. Of course, I take that back. It's not none of this. It's some of this. But those injuries, the things that I talked about earlier, look how many people on their team are hurt, bro. There is no way that a young defense can come out there and lose to a team with like 15 dudes on the injury report. If it's us, I swear to God, we'll riot. Something will happen. But man, if I was a betting man, it's going to be the run game, just like what Jacksonville did. Those big, stupid, gashed runs where a guy like Christian Roseboom, a guy like Trevin Wallace picks the wrong hole and dude is gone. Trey Benson's fast enough to do it too. Same thing. Marvin Harrison, you know what? You might have to deal with J.C. Horn. So for the most part, I'm going to kind of take you out of that. But there is not a shot in hell with putting a guy like J.C. Horn on a dude like Trey McBride. To be honest, I'd probably put Lathan Ransom to go after him. I'd probably put Trevon Moehrig. I need somebody with some oomph because my breakdown I just did of Trey McBride, literally the first play that he got, he stiff-armed a dude into the ground. Who's that going to be? If it's going to be a Carolina Panthers fan or a Panthers fan, Panthers player, I hope it's Nick Scott. If I'm going to be honest with you. Let's see what you said, though. Kyler contain priority will let the pass eat us up properly. Yeah, you're probably right. Since we do have an elite corner who can simply be motioned away from and totally neutralized. Don't say that. Man,
Thanks.
I want J.C. Horn to do well. I really do. And to be honest, under him is the healthiest the dude's been. He won a Pro Bowl under Ejiro Evero. So as much as the hate comes for it, it's helped out one person. It helped out Derek Brown win a Pro Bowl. So there's some nuance to this defense that could work, but we just don't have it. A guy like Trey McBride is going to be able to eat against that linebacker core all day long. Don't get me wrong. I think there's a scenario where maybe a JC Horn gets switched onto a Trey McBride, and that could really, turn into a pick six or something. But man, I need the offense to be able to move the ball against these guys. And as much as I don't love their linebacker core, I mean, Mac Wilson, Zaven Collins, Cody Simon, okay. I don't really love your pass rushers, but Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell, those are solid names to write home about. It's that secondary that I'm worried about, man. Is Bryce going to be able to move the ball? So as much as we're having this conversation about the defense, what is the offense going to be able to do?
All right, we will go to Joe, followed by Mike K.
Hey, EJ, good morning. Hope you're doing well.
Good morning, Joe.
Wondered if you could say, if you're going to try, I know you didn't want to get too deep into the weeds, but would you think about playing Princely and Nick a little more Sunday, just with the idea of boosting that pass rush?
Well, again, we're not going to talk about who we're playing. That's going to be a game day thing that we want Arizona to figure out on Sunday. But I'm excited about that group between DJ Wanham, Pat, Princely, Nick Scorton, all of those guys. As we work through the season, we always got to try to figure out the best way to utilize all of their strengths and really figure out the best way to get those guys on the field in the situations that's going to allow those strengths to come to life.
I hate this, but again, we're putting out the injury report later, again, because the Cardinals put theirs out later. So we're going to see a little bit of what's happening. Again, like we've talked about, I hope Ickham starts. I hope Robert Hunt's ankle doesn't continue to hurt him. I hope Damian Lewis, his shoulder is okay, because those linemen are absolutely needed, man. And I don't think, that's a great one. Well, to prevent further owner reputational damage. You know what? You might have cooked with that one, Arno. I never thought about that. I never thought about that. That would be a good one, but I don't know. I feel like David Tepper is going to want to go scorched earth, depending on how bad this defense is.
Am I next? I'm sorry.
My bad. I thought it was muted.
Hold on. I had a follow-up.
Go for it, Joe.
I had seen something, and I apologize. I don't know who what the analytics site was that had it, but Nick apparently had the fastest get off in week 1. Is that what you've seen from him all along, and what can that mean for your defense?
You talking about Nick Scorton?
He's certainly not talking about Nick frickin' Scott.
Scorton, yes, sorry.
I'm very excited about Nick. I don't get too much into all those analytical things, but I like the player. I love the way he works. I love the way he competes. I love his intelligence. He's going to continue to get better and better the more he plays and the more experience he gets. And so I'm very, very excited about what he's going to do in the future.
I mean, yeah, when you guys don't collapse his freaking lung.
Hey, EJ, it seemed like Jacksonville, I mean, obviously Liam has a background with you and knows your scheme pretty well. It seemed like Jacksonville immediately went to the tight ends to test the linebackers and safeties.
Which means Trey McBride is going to eat.
Obviously, Trey McBride is a pretty talented player. But you guys were able to kind of, limit him. What do you think is the disconnect maybe at tight end? Because there have been tight ends that have had success, or do you think it's a case-by-case basis?
Yeah, I think each week is its own entity, and
Bro, no, let's not. No, hold on. In that game, Brandon Strange, their tight end, went 4 for 4 for 59. Their tight end's 8. I don't care. This is all no. I refuse.
It's like when you start putting a plan together, you always want to address the other teams, what they do well, who their weapons are, and you want to try to minimize them. And you always want teams to try to beat you with doing the things that they don't do as well, right? That's always the name of the game. And so we know this week between Mr. McBride and Mr. Harrison, they got a really good pass weapons on the outside and the way they utilize them. And we got to be ready to understand that that's how those guys are going to try to feature and get the ball.
And if you look at that game, I'm looking at it right now. Brenton Strange, 4 for 4. De'Ami Brown, 3 of 4. Travis Hunter, 6 of 8. Travis Etienne, 3 for 3. Brian Thomas is the only one that wasn't able to do that. And of course, he's getting deep balls. So those are kind of 50-50 at times anyways. 1 of 7. Everybody else after that, 1 of 1, 1 of 1. And of course, Johnny Muntz, 0 of 1. So they weren't even like, we weren't competing, even at playing the same game. Because if you go look at the other side of the ball, 5 for 9 on Nalo, which again, understandable. 3 for 5, 2 for 3, 2 for 6, 3 for 7 with Xavier Leggett. It's not good enough, man. It's just not good enough.
And then from the standpoint of tackling, obviously James Conner's kind of hard to get down on the ground. Where do you guys stand as far as your outlook on tackling right now? Like, do you think that 1 week of practice can improve the technique?
Well, the one thing that was very encouraging about the last game is that we tackled a lot better in the second half than we did in the first half, and so I'm excited about what we're going to do this week. I know we're going to tackle better. I feel like we're going to play better, and I certainly think that you can make strides in 1 week.
I do too, but again, the caveat comes in that Arizona is severely hurt. So if the defense takes that step forward this week and the offense can't, where are we at? If the offense and defense both take a step forward, do we just blame it on Arizona and say Arizona just isn't a good team? So I don't really feel like there's a win-win for a guy like EJ. I don't think there's a win-win with a guy like Canales this week. We need to show out no matter what. But if we struggle against this team, there's more questions added to the plate.
We have time for a couple more questions. We will go to Daryl.
Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
Hi, hey. I'm sorry, I thought I didn't mute myself. Anyway, I know Derek was back this year, basically missed all of last season. Obviously, that's got to be a big boost for the defense. How do you think he impacts, especially your running defense? And what do you think, like I said, with him, along with what else you need to do maybe to obviously get the yardage down from opponents?
Yeah, I thought Derek did a really good job last game, and he kind of picked up where he was physically. You don't see any lingering effects of losing a year, and so he's certainly going to be a big part of what we try to do defensively, and we're excited about what he's going to do this week.
Thank you.
Okay, that one's over. Now, we just saw an interesting one here. I'll put this one up. Boom. Mr. Davey just went live. Let's get him up here.
Finished up a solid week of practice there. Our focus Friday, the guys were locked in. Everything ran smoothly. I love where we're headed just with the communication. When I hear the guys chattering, talking, and I can feel, just the sense of urgency on both sides, just getting set, getting our cues, and executing that way. I know that we're trying to set standards for us for each day, our work Wednesday, our turnover Thursday, which it was from this past week, and then our focus Friday, putting together great weeks so that we can continue to improve our systems.
Again, he started off his last press conference by basically saying like 20 words and then ended it. So this is a little bit more than we got yesterday? But at the same time, communication, that's really what we're talking about. We've seen the communication breakdown. There's clearly something going on between play caller and quarterback. So hopefully he addresses that. I feel like that's something that needs to be figured out. This getting to the line late. Again, Brad Idzik said it wasn't him. Dave Canales said it wasn't him. Bryce just continually just says, oh man, I just need to get better. So he's not really telling me that it's not his own fault. So this is all I got to go on, man. I don't know. I'm hoping he, revitalizes me, because right now after this, we're talking about moving on to the Jonathan Gannon one. So I want to hear what the Cardinals have to say about this, because, man, hopefully this guy tells me more.
It was great.
You know what, really quick, Arno, I agree with you. I agree. I'm going to go back just a tiny bit. I agree. Getting to the line could be an advantage. And Canales talked about that in the one press conference. He said, if you were doing this intentionally, it could make sense. But at the same time, That's not the case, clearly. That's not what we're hearing from anybody. We're hearing that it's coming in late for a reason. I don't think it's, doing it the right way.
It was great. We ramped him up every day and got him a few more reps each time. He finished off a great practice today, but again, we have to just kind of still take this thing a day at a time to see how he wakes up tomorrow after accumulating a couple of days of work.
Feel pretty good about his status as well as Hunter's?
I do. I feel pretty good about it, but again, I think we'll get the rest of the injury report out later on today. But again, for us, it's like making sure we can stack those days. But sometimes things present the following day, so we got to follow up with those guys tomorrow morning and see where we're at.
See this? How did Hunter move around this week?
Pretty good. He was limited for a couple of.
So again, he was limited in preseason. He played one game where he was abysmal. Don't get me wrong, he got hospital balls because of Bryce Young. But why are you still trying to sell me on Hunter Renfrow?
The days, so wanted to make sure he got his work in, and then wanted to just touch base with him to see how he was feeling after accumulating the reps.
Dave, what's the benefit of playing on the road to open the season twice?
By the way, he's going to keep licking his lips like this, and it's just super weird. I used to call it out last year for it because he does it whenever he's nervous. But just watch him. He's clearly like something's going on.
Before coming home, week 3?
I just think of every opportunity as a championship opportunity. You have to be able to play competitively. You have to be able to execute whether you're at home or whether you're on the road. Certainly, the challenges of the noise, right? Working on the silent cadence, it gives us a lot of good work, knowing we're going to need that as we continue to go on during the season. So I try to present every game as an opportunity to get our football together, to experience the road environments, to experience night games and the different things that come with prepping for those days. And then also when you're playing at 1 o'clock, like having a plan to wake up, having a plan to be ready. When do you eat? When do you prepare your body? So, playing on the road just presents good things being in the hotel, and having those rhythms.
I would agree with you. But at the same time, again, that Adderall boy make you move funny. That's funny as shit. Everybody always said it was porn. Obviously, that's what he gave up. Shout out to him for breaking that addiction. But I want to show you something funny. Look at what he looks like now. I'm going to give you a second. Take in this dude's face. Okay? See the lines. Hey, man, he's aging just a little bit. Everything like that, right? Look at what he looked like when he got hired. I'm sorry. That looks like a much younger man. Shout out Panthers Wire. I had to zoom in on this. That looks like a considerably younger coach, man. We are aging. We are aging Dave Canales by the day.
How much do you think the familiarity of playing them so recently, I guess, from last year can help you guys, at least from a game planning standpoint?
It goes both ways. They have their schemes. Coach Gannon has done a great job going into the 3rd season of developing their schemes in all phases. And so there's a lot of information there. But again, we have to look at the most recent information that we have and try to, use that. And they're also looking at us and seeing our schemes and looking at last week's game and saying, hey, some of these things are similar. Here's a couple of wrinkles. So, it goes both ways really for both teams. And certainly in terms of preparation, you can try to anticipate, in different situations what they might do.
We know what they're going to do. They're going to feed Trey McBride. They're going to run the ball. And you know what? You're probably going to allow Marvin Harrison to get one crazy deep play. He seems to get it every game. He always seems to get one. But obviously after this, because this one's a very short press conference, by the way. I think it's only like 7 minutes or something like that. So incredibly short. Not a normal Dave Canales press conference. We normally get 10 minutes. But again, we're going to be breaking down Jonathan Gannon, the guy that he's talking about right now, the Cardinals head coach. We're going to be breaking him down after this. But one of the things I wanted to show you, game odds opened at 6.5. We're still chilling at 6.5. So obviously nothing has changed when it comes to bets. This concerns me though. Somebody saw online, somebody posted, I'll have to find it. It's talking about the Cardinals have like 90% of the money or something stupid, like actual money on them. Obviously, this is a prediction estimator based on, again, ESPN analytics. 44. I mean, we're plus 260. We are not expected to win this game at all. So if you want to make some money and you truly believe that this Carolina Panthers team can do something, again, bet responsibly. but it's there, plus 260 right now. You could take home a few bucks. Could also lose a few bucks.
Bryce step up and take a leadership role this week to try to get things back on track?
It's the same guys. It's the same message. You know, it's the urgency. All
the rotational corner or rotational captain last week was J.C. Horn. So if it continues, he'll stay that.
The guys just challenging each other to capture the energy that we need during our week, where we put in the work. Is our practices should look like this. It felt like that. The guys got together, challenged each other, and there was great speeds, great physical play. You know, the last 2 days and then today, knowing the main emphasis is focus. You know, for Fridays, and so I just saw the guys just continuing to grab the group together. Here we go. Every play is important, and I felt that from them.
Again, more platitudes. This just reminds me of EJ, the press conference we just got through. Dave is obviously going through something. I'm not sure whether or not it's temper. I'm not sure whether or not it's just he doesn't feel like it's time to bench his quarterback or make some drastic change to the offense. But something has to change. It has to change because, again, the slide is real. If we go Jacksonville, then lose to the Cardinals, do you think we can honestly beat the Falcons at home? I mean, I sincerely hope so. It's our home field. I always want to defend it regardless. If we just win our home games forever, you know what? I'll deal. But at the same time, I don't know if that's the case. And if, again, I ask you, how many games is it going to take of losses in a row before not only EJ's fired, but Dave Canales is fired, Bryce is benched, or, you know, Tepper just, you know, fires everybody in the organization and they just start figuring it out. I just want one win. Give me one win either this week or next week, and the dogs will be called off. But right now, it doesn't feel like that's going to be the case. And obviously, the Vegas doesn't believe in us either.
Have your captains and your glue guys and stuff like that. But it seems like A'Shawn Robinson and Chuba Hubbard in particular are guys that are like by example players. I mean, they'll speak up, obviously.
Absolutely.
But what's their importance to the overall like mixture of this roster and this locker room?
It's how they play. It's how they prepare themselves. It's their professionalism and how they take care of their bodies, how they go about their meetings, taking notes, asking great questions. So there's a number of guys, you know, who may not have a C on their jersey, who I consider captains and leaders on this team.
Dave, did you
also very dumb statement?
You address your team at all this week about what was a tumultuous day Wednesday for our country?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I honestly try to keep it focused on the football and try to allow them to have a safe. We're trying to set.
God dang it. I skipped through it. Hold on.
Roster and this line.
The work is our practices should.
I messed it up. God dang it. Hold on, guys. Sorry.
Grab the group together. The work is our practices should look like this. It felt like that. The guys got together, challenged each other, and there was great speeds.
I can't believe it. I clicked the wrong button, dude.
Season of developing their schemes, game, and saying, hey, some of these things are similar. Here's a couple of wrinkles, you know, in different situations, challenging each other.
I'm trying to skip. I don't know where it was. I'm sorry.
Their meetings, taking notes.
In particular, guys that are like by example.
Okay, we saw
Wednesday
that.
for our
Here we go. Here we go. My bad.
I honestly try to keep it focused on the football and try to allow them to have a safe space in general. You know, and I just, you know, I think that, you know, that focus right there, while we had a lot of conversations one-on-one and with some of the leaders and all that, you know, it's for us, you know, it's like, okay, let's get back to work. This is a space where you get to be focused on what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And with an over-under like this, man, you don't want to allow any of that outside stuff, politics and all that. Let it stay out there. We're playing football. But, man, something's got to happen here. This right here, 6.5, a full touchdown. I understand you normally get a field goal for the home team. That means they don't believe in us more than a field goal. Man, where is this team going? What's next? I genuinely don't know. But that's why I'm going to boot up some Jonathan Gannon. Let's hear some Jonathan Gannon. I thought about putting it on the AQ Shipley one. They have a whole beautiful video done. but I'm afraid it's going to play some all 22, and YouTube hates all 22 footage. So for that reason, we're just going to move over to the regular Jonathan Gannon interview. I'm pretty sure that just happened a little bit ago. So this will be one of the better ones that we get to look at. Let's hop in.
Cody will be ruled out. Tip will be ruled out.
And we knew that because we looked at the injury report earlier and found out that like a third of the Arizona Cardinals is hurt.
And we'll have the full report for you guys about the rest of them. That's all I got. What do you guys got?
Obviously,
Is he high? Or is this just how he talks? This is my first time ever doing Jonathan Gannon. Very calm.
a lot of faith in Travis, and you even mentioned him earlier this week on filling in some of those roles. So I assume you have a lot of confidence in him being able to help with Tip being out.
I do.
Okay, so Tip is their tight end. They're talking about Elijah Higgins or Travis Vokalek. I'll just put it on the screen. So obviously we know Tip is out. He's obviously already listed here as out. Elijah Higgins and then Travis Vokalek. I guess I don't know anything about either of them. So if you're a Jags fan, please tell me all about them.
Now, every team obviously has at least 1 week worth of film on their opponents. So how much does that help? How much does that eliminate some of the unknowns maybe that you encountered last week?
A little bit. Still early though, one game, But yeah, you get a good, a game of what they're trying to do, their players, schematics, and what we got to do to win.
What is your, again, it's going to be running. It's going to be Trey Benson, James Conner. It's going to be Trey McBride. I don't think it's going to be a big Marvin Harrison night unless, he gets some crazy thing down the sideline or something like that. I could again see, like Arno said in the comments, I could see Kyler Murray running us up and down the field. But obviously he's scheming against Evero. I think it's going to be interesting. This game could be a true barometer for the Carolina Panthers season.
As far as replacing Joey in the special teams, especially punt coverage, if you guys feel like you have a pretty good plan in place for that?
Yeah. I'm excited to see some guys go out there and impact the game for us.
Who taught this dude media training? This is the exact opposite of Dave Canales. This is Bill Belichick, essentially.
With Elijah, what's been standing out on just his blocking ability that you've seen this year?
84 Elijah, because we got a bunch of them. Yeah, tight end Elijah, Higgy Bear. I really thought that he displayed decisiveness and a lot of violence week one. So that was good. He knows like what to look for, who to anticipate coming to that, who's the guy that he's going to have to block. He does a good job. We use him a lot of different ways, and he handles it. The cool thing about him too, once you correct a detail on something, he's smart, so he doesn't, have a lot of mental errors, but just the details of everything, how we use them. Once he makes that mistake and you clean it up, he gets it. So he learns quickly. He's a good player. He's doing well.
By the way, the guy he's talking about, Elijah Higgins, Stanford tight end, 6'4", 24. I mean, yeah, Stanford, you got to be smart to go to that school. Luke Kuechly, shout out. Oh, wait, that was Boston Cobb. My bad.
A bunch of guys will.
When you're getting ready to defend a quarterback that might have similarities to yours, do you really notice a difference of practicing against Kyler, or is every quarterback so unique in the league that it really only helps you so much facing someone like Bryce?
I think it helps. I do. I think it helps because they're aware, in OTAs and training camp, Kyler, what he can do in the pocket. Now you can't hit him, so it's a little bit different. Kyler will stand in there probably when he shouldn't versus us and throw it. We're in a game he might pull it down and move, but so it's not completely real. But yeah, it definitely helps. And I think Jacoby and Keaton have done a good job this week for us, for the defense.
By the way, shout out. I agree. Media training for sure on the Panthers side. But Stanford is where Christian McCaffrey went to school. Boston College is Luke Kuechly.
Gilligan, good to go?
Yeah, trending the right way.
Does that help that in case he stiffens up, does that back Chad Ryland has punted for you before?
Yeah, you need somebody to go out there and punt unless we don't. Go for it on every fourth down. We could do that too. Good.
Yo, I'm so glad I'm not a Cardinals fan. If I had to break down this press conference and this dude all the time, I wouldn't do it. This is so boring. Like, you're not giving me anything. I understand that's kind of what the coaches are supposed to do, but literally after this, I'll put on Kellen Moore, and he'll probably answer 50 questions.
I'm over coming up. How excited are you to get in front of the Red Sea and hopefully bring home?
Yeah, I'm juiced. Our guys are probably, I don't know if they're juiced more than me. They are. They're excited.
If this is juiced, bro, what is calm?
It's home opener. It'll be rocking. I know that. And we got to go out and play well. You know what I mean? So I know it'll be packed. It'll be rocking. There'll be a lot of excitement. So got to give them something to cheer about.
Kyler said he was frustrated, didn't get to finish the game on their terms. He wanted to emphasize finishing.
Mm-hmm.
How do you practice that?
Yeah, so was I. I want to finish the game with the ball in our hands. You know what I mean? Really put it away. But it was a learning experience for us. You know what I mean? And you got to coach the details. You know, make sure that we're in the right things, execute at a high level when it's time. You know. Those are critical moments. That was for us called 4-minute mechanics, that you got to make sure that you keep the ball in your hand, keep the clock moving. You know, we've been in those situations before and done a good job. So just learn and improve from it. When it comes up again, finish the game with the ball in our hands.
When it comes to game management situations, is that part of your Thursday stuff that you show the team, or is that something you kind of handle with your coaching staff?
It's talked about with the coaches and players daily.
Okay, again, solid answer. Sean Payton style, like Arno said, but not really gleaning anything, of course. I mean, Trey McBride to the moon, Benson to the moon. They're going to do something because this dude's clearly telling us nothing.
You talked about the Carolina rushing attack last year, week 16. If there's a lesson or two to be learned for the defense that they should keep in mind this week, is what comes to mind was first.
Fundamentals. Put your hands on the right guy with good pad level.
There we go. The same thing Dave Canales said. The fundamentals, tackling and everything else. He's saying the same thing.
Strike blocks. Tackle, and get a lot of hats to the ball. Keep the cup.
Easier might be the wrong word, but has been any better preparing for an opponent now that you have tape on both the opponent and yourself?
Oh, and say it again, Donnie.
Easier might be the wrong way to describe it, but in terms of preparation with game film now on you guys and yourselves, has it been any different in terms of being able?
No, I think, but that's a good question. You know, obviously, you get tape on your opponent. I think tape on yourself is probably at this point in the year just as critical. Because a lot of learning can go on. And then I told our guys too, it's a new opponent. We're playing, you know, obviously different schemes on offense, different schemes on defense. I'm talking about us because we're playing an opponent now. But we can't lose sight of the fact to make the jump from week 1 to week 2, things that everybody needs to work on, which are all different, all of our guys. We have to show those improvements. We got to see them. They got to show up. Or you're not going to make the jump from week 1 to week 2.
How did you like the tweaks you made to your road trip schedule?
I liked it a lot.
Where did it pay off? Where did it?
I thought we were ready to play. Less downtime. I liked our operation. I thought we were ready to play.
I agree. To be honest, let's just cut it off here. I'm going to move it over to Kellen Moore after this. But first, I want to show you how they actually did on offense. Obviously, a different team, New Orleans Saints. That's who they played. Trey Benson, 8 for 69, 12 of 39 for James Conner. No rushing touchdowns, of course. Kyler went 21 of 29, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 5 sacks for 33 yards. So I'm expecting Carolina to put up some sacks. If the Saints can do it, so can we. 51.6 QBR, the exact same as Spencer Rattler. Oh, you can't see it. There it is. 108.8 rating. That's fine. But look at those completion numbers. 5 of 6, 6 of 9, 1 of 1, 1 of 1, 4 of 4, 1 of 4. Okay, so Michael Wilson didn't have a great day, but otherwise, for the most part, kind of on target. And then obviously the Elijah Higgins one, 1 of 2. I don't know. Again, I genuinely feel like McBride's going to have more than 10 targets. If you're in a PPR league, I would definitely start him. Marvin Harrison's the kind of the weird one. And again, the way that they're running, I'm going to continue to side with Bennett. I think he's got a higher ceiling, but I do think that James Conner is the more physical runner right now. Let me get that Kellen Moore one pulled up. We'll get this one on. Let's go look at Kellen Moore. Again, division. I like doing the division ones because we get to see exactly who is doing something. Obviously, they just played the Cardinals in Kellen Moore, so we know kind of what they're going to do. They're going to change up. But just remember, in this game, they didn't do too bad either. 8 of 11 to Juwan Johnson. Chris Olave, besides the hospital tent, was 7 of 13, 6 of 9, 3 of 4, and that was with Spencer Rattler. Don't get me wrong. I didn't realize 46 attempts is a bit insane, especially because 11 of 45 and a touchdown. Like, that was one of their best plays that they did. Come on. I felt like Kamara should have gotten a bit more. Also, if you are a Panthers fan, this will make you very happy. Carolina Panthers lead the series 15-6 all time. Beat them the last time, or I'm sorry, this is from the Cardinals' perspective. They lost to the Carolina Panthers. They beat us in 22, and then LLL. They haven't honestly beaten us back-to-back since 2011 and 2013. So this is a team we normally own. Absolutely. It might not be this year.
All right, we'll start with medical. Guys that will be out for this game: Julian Blackman with the shoulder, Trevor Penny with the toe, and Chase Young with the calf. Tolley will be questionable with the knee, and then Valus, Zach Wood, and Jordan Howden were full, and they got no designations. So other than that, good Friday practice, and open up for questions.
Yeah, it looks like Julian Blackman will be out. He's undergoing surgery to address his shoulder. You know what? Why do I keep doing this? I mean, they've got guys out. Talise Fuaga, Penning, Chase Young, Blackman's actually ruled out. These other guys are questionable, obviously. Another tackle on IR. Both tight ends out. Another defensive tackle IR. I mean, lots of injuries. And again, 1 offensive lineman, 2 offensive linemen. I'll just go offensive. Yeah, there's 2 more, so there's 4. There's 6 offensive linemen that are hurt from the New Orleans Saints right now. So, I mean, who are they playing this week? I don't even remember. They're playing San Francisco, who just lost Brock Purdy and George Kittle. I'm going to be so mad if the Saints win a game before us. In fact, Arno, I'm coming for you if the Saints beat us. It's your fault. I don't know why, but it's your fault.
Have you just staying on the medical for a second with Julian Blackman? You mentioned that he was expected to undergo surgery this week. Has that happened, and how did everything go?
Yeah. Obviously, he's going through that now, and so we'll see how all that stuff progresses. But certainly feel like long term wise, it'll put him in position to see what happens after this. But unfortunately.
Watch this. If you guys haven't seen a Kellen Moore, by the way, Arno, it would suck for us, but I'd be proud for Rattler. I agree. Rattler had so much potential coming out of college, but he went to the Saints. But yeah, if you haven't seen a Kellen Moore press conference, they will literally not even wait. They're just going to start lobbing questions at him. There was one where I should have counted it. He probably answered 40 questions in 11 minutes. It was literally like lightning. So let's see if they continue that, and that's just how they treat him.
Good chance, yeah.
Brandon Staley the other day said that, I think all your guys as rookies, I don't know if you meant just defensively or the entire class, got the most reps out of training camp. Did you structure it that way intentionally? Could you just kind of expand on a little bit more of that plan and how that maybe applies to Jonas Senker going into his first game of relax?
I think if you go back to the training camp schedule, it's fairly balanced. 1s, 2s, and 3s. 1s naturally get a little bit more reps, but then just all the developmental opportunities would be the point of reference. Anytime each day we'd end it with some developmental period, and there's different guys in different capacities. I remember Julian used the developmental period really to get acclimated to the system early. Usually our rookies were obviously stealing more reps in that situation, but it kind of provided those guys just to get extra opportunity.
Oh, hold on. Breaking news. The Carolina Panthers have put out their injury report. Hold on. I need to find it. Where is it? Oh, no. Where is Panthers.com? Injury report. Fresh out. Let's get this thing off the screen. Fresh out. Let's see who it is. Ickham still questionable for Cardinals game. God damn it. Panthers left tackle illness listed as questionable. Limited participant Friday as he comes back from his recent appendectomy. We obviously just did the Dave Canals breakdown, so I don't feel like I really need to read his. He just needs a few more days. He missed the last game. Let's see. Turk Wharton is the only player held out. He's ruled out. Of course, he got the injury. Otherwise, everyone on the report was a full participant and had no injury status, meaning they're good to go. That includes Patrick Jones, Hunter Renfrow, Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, A'Shawn Robinson, and a Caleb Evans. Sweet. So that means, God damn it. Oh, here we go. So they're all going to play. Okay, cool. So the only one technically listed out right now is Turk. That's fine. You know what? It's a win. Ickham might play. I hate that it's still questionable, but we might get there. And again, they're going to release theirs here soon. Hold on. They're going to be releasing theirs soon too. 2 offensive linemen. There's a third one. I mean, that could be good for us. That could be good for the defense. But I obviously do like that Hunt and Lewis are back. That was obviously a big concern for me. If you were watching my breakdowns, if you were watching all my Panthers content, I continually said the offensive line was a concern. I like that it's just Ickham now. If we have to roll Yash out there again, I'm a bit worried again. But at the same time, get me the 2 guards out there first. And also, shout out, I need Austin Corbett to not play like ass. Let's see. Yeah, having Robert Hunt is a massive change for this offense, for sure. Shout out Arno.
I think, if you look at Jonas, for example, I think he just took a ton of reps during training camp. He just kept finding different opportunities to get more and more.
Yeah, and obviously when we're going back now, I just keep switching between them. But the Saints obviously got Jonas Sanker, Quincy Riley. They got some dudes in the draft, and I loved Sanker and Riley coming out, so I really feel like that team lucked out. And, of course, Sanker's getting the start now that Blackman's out, so we're going to be able to see what that rookie does immediately.
Like, whether he can play, but also what level he can play at, like, does that come into play, or is it if he's available, he's out there?
Yeah, I think it's just see how it responds after today, and just to kind of let this go through a full week's process. And obviously he's done some good this week, and so we'll just see how it all plays out.
Bothering him on tape when you go back at it, how the defense?
There was potentially some stuff there, but that'd be probably a fairer question for Tully than me.
When you look at Fred Warner and just how good he's been at linebacker, what's allowed him to sustain his success?
Really, really smart, really good instincts. He plays really, really fast. He solves a lot of problems in the run game just by play diagnose and recognizing where the ball's going, and he hits things and he beats the blockers to the point of attack. In the pass game, he's got incredible pattern match. He's got incredible patience in the pass game. I think that's one thing that shows up is, he doesn't take the cheese on a whole lot of stuff, so to speak. He doesn't create big voids behind him. He plays with a lot of depth and then rallies and makes plays.
And that's what you need from guys like that. Sound tackling, the thing that Carolina can't seem to get guys to do. Of course, the Saints are able to do it. I swear to God, again, the Saints better not win this game. They better not. I better not see a 0-2 Carolina and a 1-1 Saints.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that an approach that you guys will also do for when you go to LA again? Is it specifically the West Coast thing?
Yeah, just we've been here for close to a month now, and so with the long travel up there, we felt like it would be a good opportunity for our team to spend a little bit extra time together. That's usually what creates these opportunities, and so that's the plan.
What are some of the core tenets you think for creating the right atmosphere for developing a young quarterback?
Sorry, can you say that one?
Developing a young quarterback. What do you think some of the core principles or some of the core things you have to have in place to successfully create the right atmosphere?
Yeah, I think schematically, obviously, build a really sound structure that allows him to play free and confident. Give him enough tools, but not overwhelm him with those different tools that he can utilize. Protection's a big part of this. Our ability to protect the quarterback and run the football. And then we feel like we've taken certainly some steps in just building more and more playmakers around our quarterback position. The acquisitions we've had through this offseason and certainly as of late. And so I feel like we're putting these guys in really good positions.
That's exactly what good teams do, though. Good teams, again, he came from the Eagles. We're talking about Kellen Moore. Go in there and they invest heavily in the offensive line. If you want to have an argument of why this team is going to be good, go look at their first-round pick. I'm pretty sure this is the team I'm talking about. Now I got to go look it up. Saints draft history. I want to say they're the ones that got the tackle, Membu. Am I wrong? It was Kelvin Banks. That's what it was. Here we go. Look at that draft, okay? Offensive line in Fuaga last year. Of course, Kellen Moore's not a part of that, but offensive line. Offensive tackle. Obviously no longer on the team, but still. Offensive line again. Offensive line the year before. You literally have to go back to 2022 to see them not. Oh, even here, they took Trevor Penning. They're literally taking an offensive lineman every year. That's how you're protecting guys. Again, the next year, another tackle, a center. They're taking the pieces that actually help build an offense long term. Again, I'm a big fan of Quincy Riley, especially where you guys got him. Jonas Sanker, I'm not a Shuck fan, but that's a completely separate argument. But I couldn't agree with him more. You absolutely have to build the offensive line first. Then you add them weapons. Get a defense. Do all that other stuff. Do exactly what the 49ers did. Do what the Eagles did. All of that other stuff. Build the trenches first. That's how you win. You want to know why Carolina sucks right now? The last 2 years, we haven't taken an offensive lineman. I don't know how you win long-term by not investing in that position. But hey, I'm not the GM. I'm not the owner. Clearly, this guy knows what he's doing, though.
Is there anything that, like, just structurally, like, that have in place for them to, like, learn the right way? Like, is there anything that like, you've learned over the years that you feel like these are the things?
I think it's really, really important that there's a group setting in the way we do a lot of our stuff. So we install a lot of it as an entire group going through it. But then when you get to the position meetings, you got to have very, very open dialogue and just have a lot of conversations in there. And I think that's where the football IQ is raised. You know, when you have just those conversations and you talk through things and have all the hypothetical discussions. There's a million situations that come up in football. We just did situations today in the team meeting. It's just every week there's going to be stuff that shows up that maybe these guys haven't seen or something that we need to reinforce. And so you're constantly trying to create that environment. And then these guys are just trying to find every way they can learn, whether it's the walkthroughs, the practice, post practice stuff at home, virtual reality, whatever it may be. Like they just got to utilize as many different tools as they can.
By the way, shout out to him. Virtual reality, awesome. I heard that Jaden Daniels started doing it last year. I think it's really helped. Obviously, this Packers game, not indicative of how good Jaden Daniels is, but man, I like, again, embracing them off the field, trying to get your quarterback to actually listen, to get these guys going in. I also like that Kellen Moore isn't afraid to bench Tyler Shuck. Obviously, we know the nuance when it comes to that, but at the same time, you're trying to build through Spencer Rattler first. You're trying to get the pieces around him. And for that reason, I feel like Kellen Moore is truly building this team the right way. Even though the Saints might only get 3 or 4 wins on the year, I feel like this team next year will be competing for 7, maybe more wins. Especially if they can figure out the quarterback position, obviously.
You guys use virtual reality?
Yeah, we have that, yeah.
When you were building your stuff, like, was former quarterbacks, like, having as many around as possible, like, was that in mind, like, as far as some of that stuff?
I've been fortunate to be around those guys in the quarterback room for a number of years. Scotty played in this league, and then, is coaching it for a number of years now. Obviously, Doug did the same thing. Scott's been in this league for a really long time as well as a coach, and so I feel like there's a lot of guys who've spent a lot of time in these quarterback rooms, have a ton of knowledge, ton of experience to lean on, and then when you create a very open environment, it allows these guys to just have all those discussions.
Is the virtual
Drafting well obviously does a number on teams as well. So you can draft players that actually see the field, like, again, Jonas Sanker in this situation or Quincy Riley.
reality piece, have you used that before elsewhere, or is this kind of the first time?
We've used different components at a few other spots, but not in the last few years, and so it's good for the quarterbacks.
Decision to utilize that, was that a youth thing that come from Scott or the quarterback?
It was already in place when I first got here. It was already available to us, and then it's just a matter of you just got to put a plan together, and so I feel like our guys can continue to use it more and more as we go here, and it'll be a good advantage. Have I? When I was a player, there's a different form of it. This one's a little bit more interactive, a little bit more, like a better term, video game-like, but it's still interactive. When I was playing, it was more of a visual thing, where it's more of a point of reference camera that was really close to the quarterback, and so you're able to see it from that lens. And so there's a few different tools that different teams have used.
I'm curious, do you think we're ever going to get one where the camera's actually built in for like the helmet? Because I think that'd be a pretty sick view, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Have some, I guess, bigger losses offensively. What has it been like preparing for them this week, especially seeing guys that might not have a ton of tape?
Yeah, there's obviously some question marks as far as just who will be out there on the field. I think, systematically, structurally, they have a lot of volume, and they're going to still be able to utilize it. I think every time you watch San Francisco, if a different quarterback played, or maybe the receivers and tight ends had to go through a different rotation, they still had their whole system at their disposal. I don't think I've ever seen them play in a limited fashion. Kyle's certainly gone through this with some other quarterbacks at different points, and they're still attacking in every possible aspect they can.
Yeah, and again, he's going to a 49ers team that doesn't have an offensive guy. I mean, obviously, Shanahan gets Mac Jones, which is the guy that he wanted in the draft. So I'm very interested to see how this all fleshes out. You're out George Kittle. You're going in with Tongues or whatever the heck his name was, the backup tight end. Brandon Ayuk's hurt. Ricky Pearsall wasn't bad. Jawan Jennings isn't the worst wide receiver. So you still have pieces. And, of course, Christian McCaffrey. Come on. So I obviously see what you guys are going into offensively. But to be honest, that 49ers defense might be good enough to shut out the Saints all by themselves. This could be an absolutely crazily low-scoring game. I could see this ending 10-7, 10-3, 7-3, 3-0, if I'm going to be honest with you, because I do think that the Saints' defense is better than their offense, and vice versa for the 49ers, obviously, now that Brock Purdy and Kittle are out.
There's certainly potential for it. Quarterbacks is usually the main focus of it, and that's certainly the starting point. But we'll try and find different tools as we go.
Are there sports science advantages of going early to Seattle next week, or is it just mostly bonding?
There's some acclimation component to it, just going out there for a couple days. Weather, scenery. We'll get still some practices out there. And so, you're going back 2 time zones, and so we'll utilize that opportunity that we can.
And it is no joke. I always thought jet lag was something that people just whined about. It's a real thing. I wouldn't be surprised if teams eventually get smart enough to get there days early, I'm sorry, but almost as a full week. Basically, get done with the game, and instead of going back to your facility, just going to that city and basically playing all those weeks away. It could be interesting, but obviously they're going to stick with their tried and true method, fly last second, get on the field and play. And the few that don't get there only a day or so early. So,
Talking to me, potentially a chronic thing, limited practice down the road.
We'll just have to see how it goes. Yeah, I think these are always things that you just kind of got to take it week by week, day by day, kind of see how everything responds. And if you have to make a maintenance program, through the season or whatever, then you execute that plan. And so we'll just have to see this thing. I think it'll be the larger sample size, the better plan we can create.
Maybe it isn't with a guy as young as he is, just in his second year, but how do you balance sort of keeping the mental side of injury and everything for him kind of balanced in a situation like that?
Just the mental side of dealing with injuries?
Yeah, there's always that physical side and
Yeah.
the mental side.
No, it's real. It's real for anyone who's gone through these injuries and you're playing and maybe you don't feel 100%, or you're coming back from something. You have to, reinforce yourself that you are good to go. For all these guys, there's nothing easy about going through an injury process. Even guys that are coming back from big time injuries, like Taysom and Foster and these guys, there's a mental side of this thing that's not always easy. And so for all these guys who've gone through it, there's a confidence that you have to grow through it. And so, sometimes there's a new normal, coming out of it, and you just got to embrace that. And so,
the new normal is Chris Olave only gets hospital balls. That's why he's always in that freaking blue tent. And Kamara or bust.
It's a better question for Ted Rath and things like that, but just how do you help with that from the organization side and the team side?
Yeah, certainly I feel like we got some of the best resources, the way our training room and our sports performance, and they work hand in hand with these guys as they go through this recovery process. I think Ted's obviously phenomenal. I think Ben, Sean, all those guys in the training room is really good. Jamie with nutrition, we got a really good group that all works together. And so I think when these guys are around these people, they're getting a lot of positive affirmations from all these different points that reinforce, what they're building and what they're becoming.
And not just that, but you have we'll just say conservatively, top 10 GM, Mickey Loomis. Literally a guy that everybody fawns over. I mean, when Sean Payton was down there, all I heard was Mickey Loomis about how great he is. So the structure around you is truly good. It's finally to the point where obviously you came from Philly, but it's not Philly's level. But maybe in a few years it could be. Right now, though, it's really doing well. And obviously, like Arno said, Taysom Hill at Wildcat for the win. I 100% agree with you.
time, or is it that far removed from offense?
Yeah, I think you do touch back just as a reference point as far as the player specifically. Certainly the scheme focus is going to be on that. I don't anticipate them chasing plays from that experience, but you can see the player. You can see his reaction to certain things or things that maybe he's most comfortable with that may naturally come up a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. Mac Jones obviously gets the start. It's going to be fun regardless. Again, I really hope you guys don't win. That's just me. I hope you guys lose horribly. I hope the Panthers, like we said before, let me go find it, Aints 0-2, and of course Carolina 1-1. That's what I hope we get from this weekend. But regardless, let's get this dude off the field. Let's get this thing.
Everybody, I am D.
And again, first of all, that was crazy loud. This one comes directly from the Falcons YouTube. This one's going to be a breakdown from, obviously, state-run media. I always like to say that. But this is their view of where Michael Penix is right now.
Jay Shackley, I want to thank you guys for joining me for Falcons Film Review. And today I'm excited to talk about Michael Penix Jr. and the things that he does in game that makes him so special. There are a couple of things that come to mind. And for me, Raheem Moore said when we get a quarterback, we want him to be an elite processor. Michael Penix Jr. is that. He's also got to be tough. He's also got to be accurate and also have a little wiggle about him. Michael Penix showed all that in game number 1. I got a few plays I'm going to show you that kind of exemplifies all that in one in this particular game here. Now let's talk about Michael Penix Jr. from the quarterback spot and the things you think about pre-snap.
By the way, really wish this was on a steady cam. Maybe next time.
Pre-snap, you hear me talk about it all the time, pre-snap to post-snap. Pre-snap, as a quarterback, my mind goes to, where's my easiest completion? Where can I get a completion on first or second down that's the easiest one that I know right away? Oh, let's draw up what's going on first. Here's the route concept here. You got an out route here at the bottom, and then in the middle, Casey Washington's run a corner route, and then you got Drake who's over here in the slot. He's going to run what we call a shallow cross. Now, here's the progression for the quarterback. It's 1, it's 2, then it's 3. Going through this process for a quarterback, initially you say, okay, pre-snap, like I mentioned, where's the easiest completion? Right now it looks like, hey, this guy's playing off coverage, I can throw it there. Off coverage is good. But as the ball snap, post-snap, watch what this defensive back does here. And watch what Michael Penix does with his eyes as well. Ball, got motion coming across, and watch the snap of the ball, and watch what happens to that.
Okay, I see it. I also love the way that pocket's immediately set.
Slot guy. Now the slot guy, he's taking this away right now. So right now, you can see Michael Penix's eyes are going here. Okay, my first read, it's not there. Where do I go now? Now I got to take my eyes to number 2 right here. He's the next guy in the progression here. Go in the progression. Watch Michael Penix. He wants to throw this. Watch his feet reset. Goes, reset. Oh, it's not there. Reset. Number 2, do I like it? Oh, it's a little muddy. Maybe not. Let's not go there. Now we come down to number 3, which is Drake on the shallow cross. He does a good job of putting it in a good spot. Ball placement is important because this.
I agree, because if you look at it, look at where exactly Drake London is. I can't put my cursor on the screen now, of course. But yeah, everybody's kind of on their guy, even the guy down by the 40-yard line all the way at the bottom of the screen. I mean, they're painted on them. There's no extra guy here. So I'm guessing they're assuming the ball would come out immediately right over the middle, but instead, where is it going to go?
It's actually pretty good coverage. Put it out in front, give him a catchable football, and now you got a chance for a big play. Instead of it being 2nd and long, now it's 3rd and 1.
Yeah, they were playing man, and Drake is still one of the best wide receivers. I don't care what anybody says.
Processing ability right there, pre-snap to post-snap, knowing my number 1 read wasn't there, 2 was a little cloudy, getting down to number 3. Now you got a better opportunity and manageable 3rd down because your quarterback processed the information quickly, and that happened all.
Man, that's what's Carolina was supposed to freaking have, an elite processor. Instead, he's in freaking Atlanta.
Within about 2 or 3 seconds. Next play here, my man McLeod. When you're playing quarterback, the number 1 thing you have to have is really good feet work, because your feet work go hand in hand with your arm and your accuracy. Here's what I'm talking about here. Michael Penix is going to take a 5-step drop. This is a route that's a little bit deeper.
A 5-step against the Bucks. Bucks pass rush isn't the same, is it, huh?
Aaron McLeod is running a deeper out route here. It takes a little time to happen. He's going to take a 5-step and a hitch and let the football go. If he takes anything else, he takes an extra hitch, or he doesn't get back faster than his drop, you can't complete this pass. Nice job here of watch Michael Penix's feet here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. hitch up, let the football go, accurate ball outside.
You know what? I didn't see that, so we got to go back. I'm going to remove my big freaking head from here.
Accurate ball outside. Let's watch it one more time here. Does such a really good job. I want you to watch his feet here of letting his football go on time, and then Raymond McLeod, the back part of it is what's really special too. Watch his feet. He's going to hitch up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom. Hitch, he's about to hitch now. Raymond's about to come out of it. Remember I talking about being friendly to the quarterback? Coming down flat is a huge deal because you can see where this football is, where the ball placement is so important. He looks like he crosses his face, does a really good job of that. DB does a really good job of staying on him, and the ball is out front. If it's a millimeter, 2 yards behind him, guess what? It's an incomplete pass. Here comes the
Shout out Bryce Young for throwing all those incomplete passes.
Accuracy part of Michael Penix Jr. Hitch up, let the football go, climb in the pocket, nice pocket too as well, and now you got another big-time completion, moving the chains again. Nice job of anticipating that throw as well. And then the last part that I love, that I want to talk about, of course, is the legs of Michael Penix Jr. Understanding in these tough moments, sometimes it's not there. Sometimes the defense wins. Those guys on the other side, they get paid to make plays. On this particular play here, he does such a good job of understanding, here's pressure off the edge.
Again, happening to who is most likely going to be the NFC South winner, the Bucs. So the fact that you guys can do this against them means the Falcons might actually be better than we're all willing to admit.
Doesn't panic. A lot of quarterbacks can panic in this moment and just throw it away. But you remember, this is the 4th and 1 call where he beats a guy to the edge. Watch what happens. Get a little pressure off the edge. Now the decision to go. But the other part I love about this is your quarterback here is not just looking to run. It's 4th and 1. He could easily just try to go run and get this, which he does. But also, he does a good job of keeping his eyes down the field just in case somebody pops open. Look at his head. His head is telling you, I'm still thinking of throwing, but I'm in running motion here. Does a good job of getting outside. And then you see the speed here to get to the corner and gives up his body to get to the first down. And I'll let it play out. And then the extra effort to get there. And as we know,
my QB would never.
Big time play, stretching the ball out, picking up that 4th down call to get the first down and making a play. Last but not least, got to talk about this, the touchdown run here. Another opportunity for Michael Penix Jr. to show his toughness, but also to show the decision-making that, I wanted to throw it, it wasn't there, and then the decision to go right now, to make that decision. Now, he wants to work up here at the top. He wants to work this little the slant route at the top by Casey. He wants to throw it. Look at him. The arm is cocked. He's ready to go. But look at this guy. This guy has an opportunity to possibly break on this ball here. He's got his eyes inside, waiting for Ray to come across as well on this little seam route here. He doesn't like it. The decision to pull it down and go right now is unbelievable. I don't know how he kept his knees up. Unbelievable job of keeping his knees up to dive in the end zone. But the decision to go right now, didn't like what he saw, take off, and then the extra effort to give your team a chance to go win the ball game. That is what you like. And I'm excited to watch Michael Penix Jr. go for the rest of the season. This guy.
Man, I'm not. I don't want to see Michael Penix do well, man. I'm a freaking Panthers fan. I don't want to see the Falcons win shit. I hope you guys lose all the games. But of course, it's Atlanta. Of course you guys figured out the quarterback. I'm trying to find something from the other day that I posted that was about that 4th and 1. By the way, here it is. Here it is. Nope, that's not it. I don't know how to read, apparently. Whatever, I can't find it. So I'm just going to show you this other one. I don't want the Falcons to win. I hope you guys lose all your games. But you know what? This is the end. We've come to the end of everything. So I want to show you guys one final thing before I get out of here. You guys obviously know I'm skeptical of my Carolina Panthers, skeptical of front office, skeptical of a lot of different things. But you know who I've never been skeptical on? Somebody that I've always been out on for the most part, especially when he was drafted. I remember writing the tweet where I was like, okay, reports state that we're going with this guy. Oh, Anthony Leggett. Oh, you guys can't hear it. Of course you can't. Oh my God, if you guys can't find it, go find Rocket. He posted this Of course, you guys can't hear the audio. Whatever. Dude, League gets done. League gets done. But again, I want to appreciate everybody for coming out. It's been 2+ hours of streaming. Now 85+ people. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be streaming on the regular, hopefully 5 days a week starting soon. I cannot, again, thank everybody for coming out. If you guys are excited for this game, make sure you guys put it in the comments. Make sure you guys also put your predictions. I have said that I might be betting Arizona plus 14, but we'll see. I haven't truly made that decision, but if I do, I'll make sure to post it up on Twitter. Again, thank you to everybody for coming out. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And again, breakdowns are here all the time. We did Dave Canales. We did Tracy Smith. We did Jonathan Gannon. We did Kellen Moore. The one that literally just came out. We've done it all. So I feel like this is a perfect time to end. Everybody have a great rest of the day. Peace.